Have you ever placed a super lowball bid on StockX, completely forgot about it, and all of a sudden you get an email saying your bid was matched, and bada boom, bada bing, you got a pair of shoes coming your way? That's exactly what happened with these Supreme Blazer joints. I completely forgot about them. I placed a bid thinking that nobody was gonna accept it, and somebody decided that they were gonna take a huge L. My bid for these was 40 bucks. And they got me thinking, what are some other ways that we can grab some sneakers for way below retail? Let's talk about it. Yo, what is good, y'all boys? Underdog, and I am back in the building. In today's video, I wanna give y'all some tips on how to cop some sneakers for cheap. It's a crazy time in the sneaker market. You can even go way back in time, hop in the time machine, grab some pairs that you missed 4 or 5 years ago, pretty much for retail, if not even lower. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier in the intro of the video, but I ended up copping these for super cheap, less than 65 actually, after fees and everything like that. That's one of the ways that you can cop sneakers for pretty cheap. You can throw a lowball bid. You never know, it might hit. Now it's obviously not gonna work for every single sneaker. Like if you throw a lowball bid for a Travis Scott 1 below retail, right? Like obviously it's not gonna hit, but you truly never know. A lot of banger shoes that came out, within the, last half decade, go for pretty cheap now. It's crazy. I mean, these Supreme joints, they came out, what, 2022, 2021, about 2-3 years ago. And again, for 65 bucks, that's a no-brainer, that's a steal. All right, I'm on StockX right now. I'm gonna see what sort of sneakers we can find for relatively cheap. Take a look at these Court Purple ones. These dropped back in April of 2020. So that's over 4 years, and you can see the prices. I mean, in my 11, 10 and a half, let's look at 10 and a half. They're going for 180 right now. Now retail was technically 170, but I mean, that's not bad at all. Throw up a bid, you never know. You might get them for, if you throw a bid for 160, you might be able to get them for a steal. Of course, Jordan 1s, they're kind of dead. Even, it's crazy, even in the past, the ones in the past are going for way below retail. Let's take a look at another example here. Royal Toes, I remember these were going for like 300 back in the day, back in the pandemic days. Size 10 and a half, 179 right now. Sell for 140. You could put a bid for 145. Realistically, it might not hit because last sale was 205, but you never know. Let's check other sizes. 11, 199, 9, 175. Basically retail. Of course, some sizes, like a 6 is gonna go for a ton, but relatively speaking, in the main sizes, which I consider, 8 through 12, relatively cheap, quote unquote, for today's market. Like I said, especially considering that these went for a decent amount. 2021 was right in the peak of the pandemic, right? March, 3 solid sales for above 300 all around the board. It's not just ones too, of course. Let's take a look at this recent release, Jordan 4 Oxidized Green, 10 and a half, going for 167. That's a pretty good indicator that these are gonna go on sale pretty soon. I'm pretty sure they're all on sneakers too, like majority of sizes are still sitting. That's a really good indicator that these are gonna be found at outlets. They're gonna be discounted. You're gonna be able to save a decent amount of money, maybe even like 25, 30% off. So that's, not a bad chunk of change you could save on a recent release. Another option to buy sneakers for relatively cheap is going the used route. Now I understand, trust me, I get it. I understand both sides of the coin. Like buying used shoes, kind of gross, but you can save a lot of money. So personally, I'm really on the fence. It depends on what sneaker and of course what condition they're in, but you can save a good amount of change shopping used. I keep coming back to the shoes. It's a shoe that I've been looking at. These shoes, even on GOAT, are hovering somewhat around retail, a little bit over at 200. If we take a look at the used tab, you have a lot of different options. Of course, you have some kind of taxing for used that were listed back in the day when these shoes did go for a decent amount. But take a look at these, right? 110, no original box. Some are gonna be kind of beat, some are gonna be in decent shape. These right here don't look too bad. Bruh. I mean, there's a pretty gnarly stain, maybe not. Besides that stain though, not terrible condition. Let's take a look at some other ones here. I saw one recently. I should have pulled the trigger when I had the chance. It was like 109. They were pretty perfect. Looks like they're gone. These aren't too bad though. Condition, okay, right? So if you do a little bit of diving, you can find some pretty decent deals on GOAT, especially eBay. Check out eBay. eBay definitely is a good option too. Here's another pandemic banger, smoke gray Jordan 1s. I remember selling these for close to 300. Let's take a peek at this one, 90 bucks. Of course, it's before fees. You're looking at like 110. Again, these are not in terrible shape. They're kind of, they're kind of cooked. I mean, maybe they're not in the best shape ever, right? But you get what you kind of get the point. You can get some decent shoes from the past for a good price. If you go digging deep enough, you can find some bangers. I'm telling you, trust me. Spend some time if you're bored on GOAT, scroll through the used, you'd be surprised at what you can find. Last but not least, we've got local apps or local marketplaces like Facebook, OfferUp, stuff like that. You can find some gems for cheap. Let's just search up Jordans real quick. Now, obviously there's no authentication, system, so you're on your own here. Let's take a look, Patent One breads. I mean, I can't tell from the photos if they're real, but if they are, that's not a bad price at all. Here we go, Jordan 3 reimagined. 6.5. These look pretty clean too. I don't know if this is a men's 6.5 or a youth. Not bad, 200. Technically below retail. Some infrared 6s, some Jordan 11 cherries. I used to have these, I loved these, the Rui 8s. Olympic 7s. It's another really good way to get some shoes for cheap. And you can buy pretty much beat shoes, clean them up and flip them for more. That about wraps up the video. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I know some of these tips are pretty much well known and nothing is groundbreaking in this video, but if you're just getting the sneakers, I think these are really good ways to get some sneakers for cheap, some hype sneakers, some sold out sneakers, some old sneakers. I know in the video I looked at pretty much just Jordans, but this goes for Yeezys, this goes for, New Balance, this goes for Asics are big now. I'm sure we're gonna start seeing some used Asics for sale. This just goes for sneakers all across the board. So to summarize it real quick, first is throwing up some bids, some lowball bids. You never know what's gonna stick. Second is checking used on apps like GOAT, apps like eBay, stuff like that. And third, of course, is buying local, new or used. Honestly, local, probably the best. You can find some super solid deals locally. Of course, you run the risk of them not being authentic, so make sure you do your homework, do your research, and stay safe out there. Use check, use whatever you gotta use just as a second option. But again, thank you for tuning into this video. I do appreciate it. More videos are coming soon. Stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe to your boy's channel. Every like, every subscriber is greatly appreciated. Truly, I appreciate each and every one of you. But until next video, peace.